Hi guys, and welcome back to another Warframe video. Before we begin, I would like to say first that all the things you will see and hear on this video are based on my personal opinion. You may have a different take regarding this topic, so feel free to comment down below. However, please give me a couple of minutes to explain why I like the Incarnon Burston Prime right now compared to the top 1 meta gun in the game, which is the INCARNON TORID. The INCARNON TORID is my go-to gun last year, and in fact, nothing compares to this gun because of its beam mechanic that can deal red crit with enough critical mods. Also, the gun has superb ammunition economy as each normal shot is just used to stack INCARNON charges to evolve the gun. The best part is, you don't need headshot to stack INCARNON charges with this gun, as hitting any parts of an enemy will give you INCARNON charges. Finally, the damage is enough to kill steel pot enemies, and in fact, it's also great in bosses, even on the new ones like the Höllvania tank. Due to how precise the beam of the weapon and how good the damage, INCARNON TORID will forever stay at the top of the meta spot until something similar or greater comes in the future. Honestly, the INCARNON TORID is solid and I dubbed it last year as the only weapon you need in Warframe. However, playing one weapon for a year just bores the hell out of you, and I don't want to stick on one gun when there are tons of options available out there. I take a look at the current top weapons on the yearly Warframe stats, and I experience months or years of playing most of the guns listed except for one. This is the INCARNON Burston Prime, which sits at the 7th spot of the top primary guns in 2024. The gun has the highest change, and it got a plus 255% usage last year compared to 2023. So what makes this gun so good? There are two variants for this gun that you can imbue the INCARNON Genesis, but it's really recommended to use the Prime variant as it got better stats compared to the vanilla version. After equipping the INCARNON Genesis, your Burston Prime will receive different perks, and after transforming, the gun will gain an auto-fire mode and deal radial hit damage. Take note that the radial attack only procs the hit damage and the area can be increased with Prime Firestorm. However, I don't recommend this mod setup as it would be a waste of slot given that Prime Firestorm only adds 0.88 meters area, which is not game changing at all. On its second evolution, I strongly recommend the Fortress Salvo that grants base damage and punch through to the gun. With Prime Shred, you will have 4.2 meters punch through for the gun. The multi-shot bonus of Forceful Finality is good, but it only affects the normal shots of the gun and not its INCARNON form. The only problem with my recommendation though is that you will need to have 450 plus armor to gain the punch through buff. While it's not necessary to have the punch through buff, but it's great to have something that allows you to hit more than one target per bullet. When paired with the radial attack, you can shred a crowd of enemies with the INCARNON Burston Prime. Moving on, its third evolution perks are tricky, but I picked the one that gives me 100% reload speed. Kinetic Battle's recoil buff is good, but you can almost get rid of the recoil of the gun when you have steady hands on your Exilus mod slot. Not to mention that the best in slot arcane for this weapon is the primary deadhead that also grants negative 50% recoil. With the buff from the arcane and mod, you will have no recoil while using this gun, hence the perk is not needed anymore. Also, Extended Volley is good for the extra magazine capacity, but the fast reload just makes this buff weak for its normal shots. Finally, the final evolution is a debate between red crit and extra bonus damage per status effect. Honestly, the Absolute Valor perk is greater compared to the Fatal Affliction perk based on my personal experience. The damage boost per status effect is good, but the Red Crit INCARNON Burston Prime is better as the Red Crit tier damage can shred enemies faster compared to the build with Fatal Affliction. And finally, let's talk about my current build for this gun. In the past, I have a galvanized setup for this gun, but it's not the best choice after playing the gun for months as the damage increase of the galvanized status mods doesn't work with the radial attack of INCARNON Burston Prime. The direct hit does shred, but with Hammer Shot, the gun deals better damage due to the 8.4 times critical damage multiplier and 90% status chance increase on its INCARNON form. Without a Riven mod, Galvanized Scope can help the gun deal constant red crit damage on max stat, allowing the gun to shred steel pot enemies easily. For elemental damage, I choose to have Corrosive because I'm mostly doing Warframe 1999 content. Against the new infested units though, I switch into gas by adding Detoxin dual status mod only. Then I also equip the new magnetic mod, which is great against shield and special units with overguard. Okay, before we continue, I would also like to add in this video a quick demo on the red crit build versus the damage bonus per status type, and also the build with hammer shot and galvanized status mod. See for yourself the damage difference. Also, don't forget the fact that this gun has a 5-star Riven disposition. So, if you have a Riven mod, then you can equip it on either the Galvanized Scope or Hammer Shot mod slot. In my case, I would go with Critical Chance, Critical Damage, and Multi-Shot on my Riven mod, as this will definitely increase the lethality of this red crit build. In real mission, the gun is really amazing as it shreds enemies when modded correctly. It's also versatile and can do boss fights such as the Ifervon tank, and it can destroy the weak spots of this boss easily. Also, weak spot hits can generate INCARNON charges, which makes it a good weapon overall. The best feature about this gun is its high ammunition pool for its INCARNON form. It's really great to use the automatic fire of the weapon with the decent ammo pool on its INCARNON form, and while you are shooting the normal shot of the gun, this weapon becomes the best burst rifle in the game also, as it can melt enemies easily even in its normal form. Truly, the INCARNON Burston Prime deserves its number 7 spot on the meta weapons of 2024. It's really an amazing gun right now which can do almost every content in the game. The red crit damage that shreds enemies is really satisfying, and I strongly recommend trying out this gun with the build I have shown you earlier. Again, I am not saying that you should dump INCARNON Torrid as it's an OP gun also, but all I'm saying is that if you ever get tired using one gun for years, then you might want to try something new. So that's all about it. Before leaving, I humbly ask for your support again by simply liking the video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again in our next guide. Squad Leader signing off.